In 2004, a motorcycle rolled out of a California workshop that defied everything engineers thought possible. It wasn't built for speed. It wasn't built for show. It was built to survive apocalypse. This is the untold story of the Hayes M1030-M1, the diesel-powered Kawasaki that rewrote the rules of motorcycle engineering and silenced every critic who said it couldn't be done. Impossible engine. The story begins not with a dream of innovation, but with a military requirement. NATO forces operate under a strict one-fuel policy, a directive established in the late 1980s, but now being strictly enforced. All vehicles must run on the same fuel to simplify battlefield logistics. In peacetime, that's diesel or biodiesel. In wartime, JP-8 aviation fuel or kerosene. This policy created an impossible challenge. Motorcycles had always run on gasoline. Their high-revving engines, designed for performance rather than torque, were fundamentally incompatible with diesel fuel. For decades, military planners accepted this limitation as an immutable law of physics. Enter Hayes Diversified Technologies, HDT of Hesperia, California, and its founder, Fred Hayes. Where others saw impossibility, Hayes saw opportunity. His company had already established a reputation for solving difficult engineering problems, but converting a motorcycle to run on diesel would be his greatest challenge. Everyone in the industry told us it was impossible, a former HDT engineer later recalled. Diesel engines were too heavy, too vibration-prone, and too low revving for a motorcycle chassis. But Fred wasn't interested in conventional wisdom. Perfect platform. Hayes didn't start from scratch. He began with the Kawasaki KLR650, already renowned for its reliability and simplicity. The KLR's robust frame, generous suspension travel, and proven durability made it the ideal foundation for military adaptation. But the heart of the KLR, its 651 cubic centimeter gasoline engine, would have to go. In its place, Hayes and his team would need to engineer something unprecedented, a motorcycle diesel engine compact enough to fit in the existing chassis, yet powerful enough to be useful in military operations. The engineering challenges were enormous. Diesel engines operate with compression ratios typically between 15:1 and 22:1, compared to the 9:1 or 10:1 of gasoline engines. This higher compression creates tremendous stress on engine components. Diesel engines also traditionally run at lower RPMs, producing power through torque rather than high-revving horsepower, the opposite of conventional motorcycle design philosophy. Most daunting of all, diesel engines are typically much heavier than their gasoline counterparts due to the reinforced components needed to withstand higher compression pressures. A conventional approach would have yielded an engine too heavy for the KLR's frame, engineering the impossible. Hayes Diversified Technologies began with what they could keep: the stock Kawasaki main cases and 5-speed transmission. These proven components would serve as the foundation for their radical redesign. From there, everything changed. The displacement was reduced from the original 651 cubic centimeters to 584 cubic centimeters, though some models would later use a 611 cubic centimeter configuration. This reduction wasn't about reducing power. It was about creating the optimal bore and stroke ratio for diesel combustion in a motorcycle application. The new engine featured a 100mm bore and 83mm stroke, dimensions that favored torque production over high RPM horsepower, perfect for a diesel power plant. The piston and cylinder were completely redesigned to handle the extreme pressures of diesel compression. The compression ratio was set at approximately 20:1, more than twice that of the gasoline KLR. This high compression was essential for diesel combustion, but required significantly strengthened internal components. The lubrication system retained the KLR's proven wet sump design, but was enhanced to handle the increased stresses of diesel operation. But the real innovation came in how HDT managed the weight problem. Traditional diesel engines use massive, heavy components to withstand compression forces. Hayes' team took a different approach, using advanced materials and precision engineering to create components that were both lightweight and durable. The result was remarkable: a diesel engine that could fit in a motorcycle frame without requiring extensive chassis modifications. The M1030-M1 weighed 390 pounds, heavier than the standard KLR650, but still within the practical range for military use. Performance beyond expectations. On paper, the M1030-M1's performance figures seemed modest compared to its gasoline counterpart. The diesel engine produced approximately 30 horsepower, less than the 40-plus horsepower of the standard KLR650. But raw horsepower numbers told only part of the story. What the diesel KLR lacked in peak power, it made up for in torque and efficiency. The engine pulled strongly from low RPMs, delivering the kind of grunt needed for navigating difficult terrain with heavy loads. It could reach a top speed of 85 miles per hour, more than adequate for its intended military role. But the true revelation was its fuel economy. The M1030-M1 could travel over 96 miles on a single gallon of diesel at a steady 55 miles per hour. With its 4.2-gallon tank, that translated to a theoretical range of over 400 miles, a critical advantage in remote combat zones where refueling options might be limited or non-existent. Even more impressive was the engine's flexibility. It could run on diesel, biodiesel, JP8 aviation fuel, or kerosene without modification. This fuel flexibility fulfilled the military's one-fuel doctrine perfectly, allowing the motorcycle to refuel from the same supply as tanks, trucks, and helicopters. Military trials by fire. The U.S. Marine Corps subjected the M1030-M1 to punishing testing before adoption. The requirements were brutal. The bike had to cross streams 2 feet deep, operate with blackout lights for covert operations, and travel 400 miles on a single tank of fuel. In Afghanistan's unforgiving environment, where temperatures ranged from freezing to 120 degrees Fahrenheit and altitudes reached 14,000 feet, the diesel KLR faced its ultimate test. Dust storms, rocky terrain, and primitive maintenance conditions would reveal any weaknesses in the design. The results shocked even the most optimistic proponents. The M1030-M1 not only survived, it thrived. The diesel engine's low-end torque proved perfect for navigating steep mountain trails. Its simple design meant that field repairs could be performed with basic tools, and its ability to run on the same fuel as other military vehicles eliminated the logistical headache of sourcing special gasoline. Between 2004 and 2008, Hayes Diversified Technologies produced 440 M1030-M1 motorcycles for the U.S. Marine Corps. British and European NATO countries purchased an unspecified additional number. These bikes became valuable assets for reconnaissance, messenger duties, and quick response scenarios, beyond military applications. While the M1030-M1 was designed specifically for military use, Hayes recognized its potential beyond the battlefield. The combination of extreme durability, remarkable fuel economy, and multi-fuel capability made it ideal for other applications where reliability trumped performance. Hayes developed a 670 cubic centimeter version of the diesel engine with even more impressive capabilities. This larger displacement variant was taken to the Bonneville Salt Flats, where it achieved a remarkable 121.2 miles per hour, shattering perceptions about diesel motorcycle performance. When configured as a streamliner for the Vetter Fuel Challenge, the Hayes diesel achieved an astonishing 162 miles per gallon, winning its class consistently from 2010 to 2014. This wasn't just efficient transportation, it was a glimpse into a possible future where motorcycles could deliver practical, sustainable mobility. Around 2008 to 2010, Hayes attempted to market a civilian version of the diesel KLR. Initial interest was strong, with pre-orders coming in from adventure riders excited about the prospect of extreme range and durability. However, the project ultimately stalled, not just due to the global recession, but because of the prohibitive costs of EPA certification and emissions compliance. The complex exhaust treatment systems required to meet civilian emission standards would have added significant cost and weight, undermining the bike's practical advantages. "We had the orders, we had the interest," a former HDT representative later explained. What killed the civilian version wasn't lack of demand, it was the regulatory hurdles. The EPA requirements for diesel emissions had become so stringent that meeting them would have transformed the bike into something much more complex and expensive. Engineering challenges overcome. The development of the M1030-M1 required solving problems that many engineers considered insurmountable. Chief among these was vibration, the nemesis of single-cylinder engines, particularly diesels with their higher compression ratios and combustion forces. In a conventional motorcycle, excessive vibration leads to rider fatigue, component failure, and frame stress. The diesel KLR's engine produced significantly more vibration than its gasoline counterpart, threatening to shake the bike apart over time. Hayes' team addressed this through a combination of innovative engine mounting, frame reinforcement, and vibration damping systems. They couldn't eliminate the vibration entirely, The distinctive diesel thump remained a characteristic of the bike, but they reduced it to manageable levels that wouldn't compromise reliability. Another challenge was heat management. Diesel engines typically run hotter than gasoline engines due to their higher compression ratios. In the confined space of a motorcycle frame, this excess heat could lead to overheating, particularly in desert environments. The solution came in the form of an enhanced cooling system. The M1030-M1 retained the KLR's liquid cooling, but featured a larger radiator and improved coolant flow. Testing confirmed the system could maintain reliable operation even in 120 degrees Fahrenheit desert conditions, a critical requirement for Middle Eastern deployments, where ambient temperatures regularly exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit for months at a time. Technical specifications. At the heart of the M1030, M1's innovation was its engine, a marvel of compact diesel engineering. The final production version came equipped with a 584 cubic centimeter engine, though some models were slightly larger at 611 cubic centimeters. It had a bore and stroke of 100 millimeters by 83 millimeters and ran at an impressive compression ratio of around 20:1. The engine produced about 30 horsepower, but its real strength was in the torque, far greater than that of the gasoline-powered KLR650. Fuel was delivered through a direct injection system, ensuring efficient combustion even under extreme conditions. Starting was handled by an electric starter, with a reliable kickstarter included as backup. The engine was liquid-cooled, featuring an upgraded radiator for better heat management, and used a wet sump lubrication system adapted from the original KLR design. Power was transmitted through Kawasaki's standard 5-speed gearbox, keeping the familiar feel of the classic KLR, while offering a more rugged, diesel-powered experience. The bike retained the KLR's 280mm front disc brake, essential for stopping the heavier diesel version. The suspension was reinforced to handle the additional weight, with the bike tipping the scales at 390 pounds, about 50 pounds heavier than the standard KLR650. Despite this weight increase, M1030-M1 maintained reasonable off-road capability. Its ground clearance, suspension travel, and overall dimensions remained similar to the gasoline version, allowing it to navigate the same terrain, albeit with a different power delivery character. Legacy of innovation. The Hayes M1030-M1 represents one of the most significant motorcycle engineering achievements of the early 21st century. It proved that diesel power could work in a motorcycle platform, challenging decades of conventional wisdom. More importantly, it demonstrated the remarkable adaptability of the KLR650 platform. The fact that Kawasaki's design could accommodate such a radical engine swap while maintaining its fundamental character speaks volumes about the original engineering. For Hayes Diversified Technologies, the M1030-M1 marked both a triumph and a conclusion. The company no longer produces military motorcycles, having shifted focus to other engineering challenges. The 440 bikes delivered to the Marine Corps, along with those sold to other NATO forces, represent the entirety of production. This limited production run has made the M1030-M1 something of a unicorn in motorcycle circles. Few civilians have ever ridden one, and even fewer have owned one. Those that have made their way into private hands command premium prices and intense interest from collectors and enthusiasts. Historical connection. It's worth noting that Hayes Diversified Technologies wasn't always focused on military applications. The company was originally called Metco in the 1970s and had successful Penton and Honda race teams with riders Bruce McDougall, Danny Laporte, and Chuck Bauer. Laporte would go on to win the 1979 AMA 500 National Championship and the 1982 FIM 250 World Championship. This racing heritage informed the company's approach to the diesel conversion. They understood that motorcycles needed to be balanced, responsive, and reliable, qualities that couldn't be sacrificed even when adapting to military requirements. The M1030-M1 represents a fascinating bridge between civilian motorcycle development and military application. It took the lessons learned from decades of racing and trail riding and applied them to the unique demands of battlefield deployment. Future that might have been. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Hayes Diesel KLR is what it suggests about roads not taken in motorcycle development. While the civilian motorcycle market has overwhelmingly favored gasoline engines optimized for performance, the M1030-M1 pointed toward an alternative path focused on efficiency, durability, and fuel flexibility. Imagine a world where diesel motorcycles had gained mainstream acceptance. Riders might be enjoying 100+ miles per gallon fuel economy, 500-mile ranges, and engines that routinely last 200,000 miles without major overhauls. The higher initial cost would be offset by lower fuel consumption and reduced maintenance. Environmental regulations and the shift toward electric vehicles have likely closed this alternative path for good. Modern emission standards for diesel engines require complex, expensive exhaust treatment systems that make little sense in motorcycle applications. The EPA hurdles that prevented the civilian M1030-M1 from reaching production have only become more stringent in the years since. Yet the M1030-M1 remains a fascinating glimpse of what might have been. A motorcycle that prioritized practical virtues over performance figures, durability over horsepower, and long-term value over initial cost. Verdict. So what's the shocking truth about the Kawasaki KLR650 diesel engine? It's that the impossible was actually possible all along. A motorcycle diesel engine wasn't just a theoretical concept. It was a practical reality that served with distinction in some of the world's most demanding environments. The Hayes M1030-M1 proved that motorcycle design doesn't have to follow conventional wisdom. It demonstrated that with innovative engineering and a willingness to challenge assumptions, even the most fundamental aspects of motorcycle design can be reimagined. For the mature rider, that experienced motorcyclist over 45 who values reliability, efficiency, and capability over flash and fashion, the diesel KLR represents a fascinating might have been. A bike that aligned perfectly with the priorities of riders who care more about reaching their destination than how quickly they get there. Yes, it was heavier than its gasoline counterpart. Yes, it produced less peak horsepower. Yes, it vibrated more. But it also delivered unmatched range, unprecedented fuel flexibility, and the kind of bulletproof reliability that could mean the difference between life and death in a combat zone. In a world increasingly dominated by complex electronic-laden motorcycles that prioritize performance figures over practical virtues, the Hayes Diesel KLR stands as a monument to a different set of values: simplicity, durability, and purposeful design. It's not just an interesting footnote in motorcycle history. It's proof that sometimes the most revolutionary ideas come from questioning the most basic assumptions. In this case, the assumption that motorcycles must run on gasoline.